Filmmaking is silly. This is me and my friend. We shoot movies. We shoot commercials. Last month we did go see this and we were fucking impressed. We loved it. I was like, let's go shoot something. Luckily I had one unfinished script sitting in my drawer. The drawer of doom. Or as Tolkien would say, unfinished tales. The next week we were there. But I had one condition. Just us. No money involved, no budget, because, there is no budget. We decided to be as creative as possible, without limits, using the good ideas and finding ways to make the bad, impossible ones actually possible, overcoming problems and looking silly. But this is not a breakthrough of my movie. This is the breakthrough of understanding what silly really is. We have all heard famous directors set this line.
Value of a film that's like a theme park film, for example, the Marvel type pictures, where the theaters become amusement parks.
I would actually say the same exact thing with horror movies. And I mean that as a compliment. I just love park rides. They are exciting, they are fun, they are funny, and they are scary. It's a genre that can seem repetitive on the surface. Same jump scares, the same tension. But I think that's the wrong way to look at it. To me, horror is the genre that pushes filmmakers to constantly invent new techniques.
You're right, Mr. Morgan.
I think it's the most fascinating genre from a filmmaking perspective. Action movies needs explosions, comedies needs punchlines, horror only needs two things: a person and something they can't understand. That's where fear comes from, the unknown. Why do we enjoy being scared? I think it's because the fear is not happening to us. It's happening to the characters, and we love watching those characters to deal with that kind of situations, impossible situations. We admire their creativity, we admire their determination, and most of all their courage, which a lot of time is dangerously close to stupidity. I have heard people say that the horror movie wasn't scary because they always knew when the jump scare was coming. But when I get on a roller coaster, I already know what's going to happen. I know that once I reach a certain point, I'm about to drop. And that's when adrenaline hits. So I don't think expectation is the real problem. The problem is probably something else. But I do agree that expecting something can reduce fear. So how do you minimize expectation in horror? Through filmmaking. Let's take this scene as an example. This is how it appears in the final film. The tension comes from the fact that the head doesn't move. The scare only happens at the exact moment I want all that build-up tension to finally be released. But in the script and even in what we originally shot, it played out very differently. I stood up and the head followed me. Then I stopped, and the scene continued the way it does in the film. To me, that head movement immediately killed the tension. The surprise was gone, and with it, the impact of the scare. Some directing choices look completely ridiculous on paper, or even while you're shooting them. But when they are executed well, they become terrifying. This wasn't our first short horror film. 2 years earlier, we shot a scene where a cord suddenly shoots out, wraps around the actress' neck and lifts her into the air. My original plan was to create lift in post-production. We had access to a camera dolly, so we came up with a slightly crazy idea. And whenever you can pull something off practically, it almost always looks better. What if we lifted the actress for real? We had no budget, so fancy wire rigs and professional lifting equipment were completely out of the question. The only problem was that we also needed someone to play the cord that was supposed to fly out and lift her. Whole setup looked completely insane. If the filmmaking fails, the exact same idea becomes laughable. Or maybe what came next was even sillier. We needed a shot where a knife flies into the actress and stabs her in the side. I could have made the knife in Blender. In fact, I had already done exactly that for another shot in this very film. It was pretty straightforward effect, but I really wanted the shot to be as practical as possible. So I grabbed a boom pole and the knife fit perfectly onto the end of it. After a few test takes and with the actress selling the impact, this is what we ended up with. So why did I bring up Obsession? It's the perfect example of the fact that horror isn't about what you show. It's about how you show it. Barker has openly said that he was inspired by other horror movies. You can definitely see those influences, but he understands horror. What's even more impressive is that he can take scenes that don't sound scary at all and turn them into terrifying moments purely through technique. The framing, the pacing, the editing, the storytelling. The best horror scenes can often sound completely ridiculous on paper. Someone holding a flower, someone standing in a doorway, or a head that is trying to escape through your screen. None of those things are scary by themselves. Filmmaking is what makes them scary. That's why I don't really care whether a filmmaking choice seems silly. If it creates emotion, it usually works. There isn't one correct way to scare an audience. There's only filmmaking that works and filmmaking that doesn't. The better the filmmaking is, the less you notice it. And when you're watching a bad movie, you notice the camera, you notice the editing, you notice everything. But when you're watching a great movie or a good movie, you will forget that you're watching one. And that's exactly what we tried to do. No big cameras, no massive crew. Just the friends who wanted to make a horror film. Because we love doing it.